Casteel, and I'm just finishing up my senior year at Melville High School. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of holding a convention, and when I say the basics, I mean the very, very basics. If your school ever has held a convention, you know that there's a lot that goes into it, but this is the way that our council typically breaks things up, divides them. There's obviously going to be more than this, but if you ever need any extra pointers, feel free to let me know. Let's get started. During my 4 years of high school, we've held both state convention and gateway convention. So state was when I was a freshman and gateway was this past year when I was a senior. So I figured I'd be a decent source of information for you guys because I've seen the ins and outs of how it works, experienced it multiple times, and different things like that. To begin, one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that you're going to pick an interesting and original theme. So our state theme was dinosaurs and our gateway theme was rodeo, which is my personal favorite, little FYI. So when you're choosing a theme, there's three main things that you want to make sure you're able to do. So number one, is it promotable? Number two, are you able to decorate for it? And number three, can you get a good slogan out of it? Because everybody knows that a good slogan is important. It's not uncommon to repeat themes, but you want to make sure if you are going to repeat a past theme that you give it a cycle of a minimum of 4 years to make sure that somebody who participated in one convention as a freshman isn't experiencing the same one as a junior or senior. So next up, we're going to get into committees. So this section may vary based on your council size. So at Melville, we typically have an average of around 130 people, which is on the larger side. It could be different for you based on council size, but for us, we are more than able to fulfill them all. Some of them you may need to double up on, eliminate some that you don't necessarily find necessary. It just varies from school to school and what you have available to you. So I'm going to give a short description of each one, and if you ever need a more in-depth description, I'll be sure to list my contact info at the end, or I'll put it in a comment and we can figure it out together. First up, we have convention chairs. The job of a convention chair is to MC the convention, oversee everything that's going on for the most part, kind of make sure everything's rolling along the way it needs to be. So I was a convention chair for our Gateway convention last year. It is a big responsibility, but it's kind of cool to see the ins and outs of everything that's going on instead of being subject to just one committee. So next up, we've got registration. So the main job of registration is checking schools in, handing out their goodie bags, and kind of taking care of them as they arrive in the beginning of the day. I personally think the biggest job is stuffing the goodie bags because I've helped with that before, and it's a lot more work than you'd think. So more hands on deck you can get with that is definitely going to be helpful. So next up, we've got the welcome committee. So the main job of the welcome committee is to either stand outside or inside, weather permitting, at the entrance of your convention, whether it's your front door, your auditorium, wherever that may be. And their job is to basically go crazy, hype people up as they walk through the door, and get them excited for the rest of the day. So the next about 4 committees that we're going to talk about are all about food because, as we all know, that's a very important part. So the first one is going to be food service for the students, and along with that would be the food service for the advisors. You can split those up or combine them. It's totally up to you. Their main job is serving meals and contacting places to donate food. So we typically split up where our advisors eat and where our students eat. But back to the donations for food, a lot of times local businesses will be willing to give you either a monetary donation or just straight give you the food. It is good exposure for them, helps get their name out there, and I'm pretty sure they get a little help on their taxes for that as well. So the next 2 committees that we're going to talk about are both student and advisor hospitality. You can combine those as well. Again, it's all personal preference. So the main job for the hospitality committees are to provide snacks for students and advisors to pick up and utilize throughout the day, ask for donations for those snacks as well, and make sure the tables are stocked at all times. So the way we typically do it is we pick one room in our school for the advisors and one room in our school for the students. The advisor snacks are typically more sophisticated, if that's the word you like to use, but again, that's just how we do it. It can vary from school to school. So next up, we have what we call the Roustabout Committee. So their job is basically to do all the manual labor. So it can vary from assisting custodial staff, making sure trash is taken out, moving things on stage, moving other heavy things. basically anything along those kind of lines. Our next committee is our technology committee. So their typical job is to run lighting, sound, graphics, and basically all the other technological things. At Melville, we typically like to go big, so we hired a production company for both State and Gateway, but it's definitely not a necessity. You're perfectly capable of putting on a great show, a great convention with what you have available to you at your own school. So that committee kind of depends on how sophisticated you want to go, but either way always ends up working out just fine. So hang in there with me, I promise we're getting close. Next up is the election committee. So elections are pretty self-explanatory. Their main job is to oversee the ballots, count the votes, and eventually deliver the results. So one thing that's cool about the election committee is you do get your time to shine on stage and deliver the good news to the schools that win. So now we're going to talk about one of the most important committees for the whole thing. It can make or break your convention, and that is the decorations committee. So decorations are huge, they are so important, and it's such hard work. Everybody decorates. This one isn't really a committee, it's more of a whole council job. So everyone decorates. We like to be organized, so we typically divide by floor, hallway, gym, cafeteria, different things like that. One pro tip, you want to make sure to label things well. It makes it a lot easier to set up later once you're done. And another pro tip, which took us a few years to figure out, but we use it all the time now, is small dots of hot glue on the wall to hang things. It's super easy to peel off, and tape bubbling is absolutely awful and takes a lot of unnecessary time, so that hot glue is definitely going to be a game changer. So next up we have the officer school liaison. So the main job of that committee is to coordinate with other officer schools to make sure things are getting done in a timely manner and that everything's getting done the way that it's supposed to. So it's great to hold meetings, whether that be a conference call or an in-person meeting with the other officers from those officer schools. Holding a meeting helps put everybody on the same page kind of, and also gives you an easier opportunity to meet and get to know people, which is always a plus. So now we've got our entertainment committee, and the main jobs of the entertainment committee are to assist the speakers, plan activities to keep kids engaged and excited, and one thing that we like to do is recruit the performing groups at our school, so like our cheerleaders, our dance teams, and a lot of times we even have our male dance team perform. So our female team is called the Pantherettes, our male dance team is called the Mantherettes. It always puts on a good show, gets people excited, and it's just one thing to just give your convention a little bit of an extra edge. Alright guys, we've got about 2 more, so stick with me. This next one is another absolutely huge, super important committee, and that is donations. So everybody knows that your student council budget is only so big, so it's always good to contact, again, local businesses, maybe even your parents' jobs, and any place and anyone that would be willing to assist your school. So a donation can either be material or monetary, and those things will do things that will help stuff goodie bags, maybe even provide the goodie bags themselves, and as previously mentioned, could possibly donate food. How we do it is we make our whole council part of the donation committee. So everybody asks, everybody reaches out to their contacts or people they may know. The committee itself just organizes what goes where. And it's always a good idea to create a donation letter and distribute it either in person or by mail. And 2 things you want to be sure to include in there are explain what it's for and who to contact. One thing that will also help with the businesses is to provide them a receipt, because again, it can help that business for tax purposes. So last but not least, we've got publicity. So publicity's job is to promote the convention through hashtags, Snapchat filters, or really anything that will get the word out. And that committee helps engage students and makes sure to leave a lasting impression on them. So you want them to be talking about your convention for a long time, and the publicity committee is a good way to make sure that that happens. I know that committee section took up a large chunk of the workshop, but this next section is just as important, and that is work and work dates. So we schedule work and decoration dates to make sure that everything gets done. The way we do it is we assign a mandatory number of work dates and hours per student. So I believe I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually don't know the exact number, You can ask Jane Parika for that. But again, that'll differ based on how many people you have in your council, how many people are available to work. We like to try and get as many people in as many hours as possible, makes everybody else's job easier, and puts less work on specific parts of the council. So that's all I have for you guys for this workshop. Putting on a convention, whether it be state or your specific region, is a really, really big job. And there's definitely a lot of time and work that goes into it. As with anything, communication is always the key to success, so you want to make sure that that part is done very, very well. It truly is one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in my life. And if any of you have any questions or need any clarification at all about anything, my handout will be linked with my contact information, and you can feel free to reach out at any time. I hope this was valuable to you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Virtual Fulton.